Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Dozens of students escaped serious injuries in Manchester bus crash. Trelawney judge found dead under tragic circumstances. And later in sports, Mount Pleasant remains perfect in Caribbean Cup after win on Tuesday night.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. We begin with a developing story that at least 29 students of the Knox College in Spalding escaped serious injuries after the coaster bus transporting them to school veered off the Williams Field to Content Main Road this morning. The driver told police that a vehicle ahead of him slowed suddenly and he swerved to avoid a collision. The bus veered off the road into a ditch. In the meantime, head of the Manchester Traffic Department, Sergeant Florizel Williams, is recommending that insurance companies make it mandatory for motor vehicles to be equipped with dash cams before they can be insured. The legal fraternity has been plunged into mourning following the death of Judge Ruth Lawrence. The judge was reportedly rushed to hospital by her spouse after complaining of excruciating abdominal pain. She was pronounced dead moments later. President of the Northern Jamaica Law Society, Pearline Bailey, expressed shock at Judge Lawrence's sudden death.
A very compassionate and hard-working person. She was determined when she came initially that she didn't have a lot of experience in the civil arena and she was going to bring herself up to speed very quickly. She worked very hard, very long, hard hours, and throughout it, she always had a smile. She was always compassionate, and that compassion came through in terms of how she dealt with people. I am really sad to hear of her passing, and I just wish to express my condolences.
The police are investigating. To other news, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has again defended the government's position at the recent United Nations General Assembly amid renewed criticism from the opposition. Opposition spokesperson on foreign affairs, Senator Donna Scott Motley, accused the government of failing to show solidarity with the Palestinian people during key UN moments. But speaking at this morning's post-cabinet press briefing, Senator Johnson-Smith rejected the assertions.
Practice of Jamaica's diplomacy that we prefer to listen, to be at a table, to engage, whether we agree or disagree. As I just stated earlier, that we are not performative in our practice of diplomacy. The walkout, as I understand, it wasn't even a walkout by the whole UN. UN is 193 members. I think the greatest estimate I saw was 70. I'm not sure at what level.
Mrs. Johnson-Smith also emphasized that the government respects the sovereign decisions of other nations and chooses to uphold its own diplomatic principles.
That's their choice. But the reason Jamaica, or one of the reasons that Jamaica is always a respected voice, is because of our willingness to always engage. And that is something we don't resile from. We are not a chest-beating administration. We're not ego-based. We're not image-based. And we are really focused on solutions. So we called for the things which we believe are important, as we have continued to. And being present, or rather not being present, would not have advanced or harmed a position in any way. So I cannot explain anymore beyond what I have already stated.
Meanwhile, Senator Johnson-Smith says Jamaica has pledged full support and partnered with the UN Security Council's new gang suppression force for Haiti as that country grapples with spiraling gang violence. Here's Shimala Pullen.
The UN Security Council has approved a new international gang suppression force for Haiti, replacing the Kenya-led mission. This decision comes as Haiti faces surging gang violence, widespread human rights abuses, and a deepening humanitarian crisis that is disrupting daily life across the nation. Nearly 1.3 million people have been displaced, kidnappings are on the rise, and armed gangs now control large parts of the capital. Jamaica's Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the crisis can no longer be ignored.
Jamaica has been stating within CARICOM and externally that not only are we concerned about Haiti for Haiti's sake, we're concerned about Haiti from the perspective of her people, of the chronic humanitarian crisis and the security crisis that has, of course, spiraled into mass dislocation, gross humanitarian abuses, and really a situation that cannot be allowed to be forgotten.
In response, Jamaica has agreed to partner with the UN on this vital mission to restore order and support the Haitian people.
We have been advocating for support for this new transitional, not the transitional mechanism, but a new mechanism, a successor mechanism, as well as the establishment of a new mission office, UN mission office in Haiti, which will allow for more predictable funding and more systematic support of the mission that is deployed there. It means that now there is more discussion to take place, more planning.
Under a 12-month mandate, the new force will work alongside Haiti's police and military to disrupt gangs, protect key infrastructure, and ensure safe delivery of humanitarian aid.
We very much had affirmed the need to ensure sustainable, predictable resourcing of the force by all international partners. We take note as well that this mission is intended to work in parallel with the OAS roadmap for Haiti's return to stability and security, which focuses more on the humanitarian aspects. And guys, I really encourage you, research these matters. The OAS roadmap, remember OAS charter doesn't allow it to engage in security missions, but the UN does under Chapter 7.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
Vendors and administrators of the St. Thomas Technical High School appear to be on a collision course over new vending rules. Antonia Atkinson explains.
When the new school year started, vendors who operate in the vicinity of St. Thomas Technical High School arrived to a newly constructed perimeter wall, restricting their access to students.
You can't do that! Oh, you can't do that!
TVJ News understands the decision comes amid concerns that students opt to purchase from the vendors instead of the school's stock shop. Patricia Patterson has been a vendor for more than 35 years. She says things began to change about 5 years ago when a new administration took over at the school.
Because my things are for $100. Bun $100, cheese $100, juice $100, banana chips $100. Everything I sell basically is for $100. The purple can water that they are forcing them to drink now is $200 at that tuck shop. I sell them for $150. The vendors are in compliance with them because they were tricked. They were told to get rid of me as the 100 person because I am mashing up markets, according to them.
She went further.
Treat the children better. Allow them to eat what they can afford. You cannot afford a patty for $400 at the tuck shop and a $200 juice. Most of these local children get $500 to come to school.
When contacted, an official from the school rejected the claims that vendors are being prevented from selling to students. She explained that a meeting was held with vendors prior to the start of school. It was agreed that they would be allowed to sell to students before and after school only. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
Costas of St. Anne Joseph Issa recently launched a special mentorship program targeting primary school students and community groups across the parish. The initiative, dubbed Costas Commando, is designed to foster leadership, discipline, and community service among youth. 3 schools have already come on board.
kids, I say this to you, start now. So whether it is, my son went to start to work at 8, and I wanted him to taste work. So whether you do 1 day a summer or 2 days a summer, and you find through the principal, your parents, or somewhere where you can work, start now.
Speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Harleen Gordon-Wright says the program is not only focusing on education, but also supports the moral development of young people.
Indeed, it is a success, and we call it a success already. The fact that we have 3 schools benefiting, and not just public schools, but our independent schools benefiting from this initiative. Very well. The ministry paused at this time to fully commit to partnering with the St. Anne Justices of the Peace Association and also to endorse this initiative.
It is now time for a break, but stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It is now time for the Business Minute.
Sagicor Life Jamaica is expanding its critical illness coverage to include early-stage breast and prostate cancer. Effective today, clients with eligible plans will receive partial payouts once diagnosed with early-stage forms of the diseases. For breast cancer, the benefit applies to non-invasive cases such as ductal carcinoma in situ. For prostate cancer, it applies to early stages T1A and T1B. Clients can claim up to 25% of their sum insured, with a maximum payout of $1.25 million. Further afield, the U.S. government is shut down as of 12:01 Eastern Time this morning. It's out of money because Congress can't agree on a funding plan. The main sticking point is health care. Democrats want to reverse Medicaid cuts and stop enhanced Obamacare subsidies from expiring. The Congressional Budget Office estimates about 750,000 federal workers face furloughs. It says they'd otherwise make about $400 million a day. Essential employees must work without pay. The State Department might be slow to issue passports. The military remains in place, but just under half of civilian defense employees are furloughed. National parks have skeleton crews, and the FDA says food inspections are affected. As for transportation, about 3/4 of FAA staff are working without pay. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Prince Moore.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we look at endometrial hyperplasia.
When I went there, he told me that he was going to refer. He didn't have the equipment. And that's why Jubilee had said, the first week, they didn't have equipment to do the proper
surgery.
It's just the samples.
Okay.
So that they can
get a diagnosis.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Pay attention to unusual bleeding, balance your hormones, keep up with checkups, and don't ignore menopause changes.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Barbados, along with 3 other CARICOM countries, begins full free movement of nationals today. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, says citizens can now live, work and study freely in Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize and Dominica without needing work permits. She reassured the public that security and labor laws remain strong. The move aims to boost the economy by attracting skills and addressing Barbados's aging population and shrinking workforce. Ms. Motley stated that the bill will be introduced in Parliament on October 7 for debate.
Thank you, Shane. We now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.